Welcome to Barrel Rollers Podcast, Episode 8. This almost didn't happen because of my continued technical issues, but thank you to Wolve3591, my regular co-host, for supporting and hanging in there. Welcome to Fireball TX.
Afternoon.
And CraigYo as well. Welcome, a special guest. Say hello to the lovely folk at home. Do we need a bit of volume on CraigYo?
Possibly.
Chat a little bit.
Could be talking quietly.
Okay, you're good. You're good. So this is the 8th episode of the Barrel Rollers podcast, and we've aimed to introduce people who are playing a role within the community, taking time out from their own schedules for their own things to do things for the community, and that's why we've brought on Fireball and CraigYo, who have both been big contributors to the community. And in different ways. So we'll get around to talking about their specific contributions later on. But as we do with new people who arrive on the podcast, we want to let everybody else out there know a little bit more about these lovely folks. So, Fireball, you're going to go first. So what we're going to do is we're going to alternate. I can't hear them at the moment.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're in the recording.
They're not chasing you down, are they? As long as you're not chasing you down, we're good.
Not yet.
All right.
So, Fireball, let's talk about how you found the Barrel Rollers. I think this might be an interesting one.
Well, that was through you, and it would have been like not that long. I think it was November. So we started Discord was made in August, right?
Yes.
And so it was like October, November time, but it was like
it was pretty early on, actually. I think it's more around October than November.
Yeah, well, it was like they had like there was something, I don't remember what happened with our college classes, but I was like stuck at home, and so I got more into playing DR2 at the time because I finally got around to having my wheel, and so I tried to set it up, and I was trying to play with it, and I was like, oh, like I'm enjoying this, but I wonder if there's somebody out there that I can watch and kind of get some more information from it. And then I found you playing it. I think you were like the only person playing it at the time, and so then I was like, okay, and then I stuck around, and then you were pretty entertaining, which is obvious, and the rig is cool, which is duh. But then I stuck around for that, and then came back, and then so it just snowballs after that.
So it was a quieter time back then, right?
Yes.
There were less Dirt Rally 2 streamers. There was less activity, I think, in general in Dirt Rally 2 at that time.
For sure.
Yeah. But from my perspective, what's interesting is that you corrected me on this multiple times, right? Because in my memory, like the strong memory I have with Fireball is Forza Horizon, when I was streaming Forza Horizon 4. That's the strong memory because we had interaction, right? Whereas before that, with Dirt Rally 2, you might have been a little bit more passive. You might have talked, but a little bit more in the background. But with Forza Horizon 4, you're in my lobby.
And it was like at the time I don't really know like exactly why, but it was like I guess maybe because a lot of the people that I have played games with, I guess before the last like year and a half or 2 years, were more into other types of games, and so there weren't that many people that I knew that were playing racing games. So when I saw you were doing the lobbies for Forza, even though I'm not super big fan of Forza, but I was like, this is something I can do, that I can get into it, meet new people, make new friends, play some Forza.
That's awesome.
So
man.
I was like, kind of kept going. I kept trying to make sure that I was able to come back just so that I could, I don't know, have a fun online racing experience.
Oh, that's really insightful for me because and we'll get onto this later on, but Fireball, I think the next big thing that he did for the community was iRacing, and that really struck me as like, well, he's a Forza guy.
And this is how I became aware of Fireball was via iRacing. I remember I got a message or a flag in Discord. It's like, what's this guy Wolve doing at a 1492 and he's not in the endurance racing? I'm like, what? Who's Fireball?
There's a story behind that one. I remember that too. That was pretty funny.
But again, speaking to what he's done for iRacing, it's huge.
Like seriously, like I had in my mind my perception of Fireball from the early days was a fun, a kind of goofy, fun-loving guy who loves Forza. That was my impression of Fireball in the early days. And then suddenly he's like, all right, so let's do some iRacing. Here's this ridiculous, intricate like scheduling that takes into account splits, and he's like, all right, so do some test laps and send me your telemetry so I can work out your fueling. And I'm like, what the hell?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so
as my first introduction to him there, I was absolutely impressed with his ability to organize and on the fly solve problems.
That's the fun part. Especially with the iRacing, with all those people that'll crash into you or something, you just get thrown curveballs all the time.
Yeah,
deal with it on the fly.
On the fly, that 24-hour Nordschleife, that was remarkable. What an experience!
Yep.
What an experience!
That was a good race.
Now CraigYo too. CraigYo, you're a more recent arrival than Fireball, but you've made a really strong impact on a lot of us. You're without a doubt one of the most loved and cherished members that we have here.
You guys.
And yeah, it's happened really quickly for good reason.
It has.
For good reason, though.
Of course, good reason, yes.
But we must be about like 9 or 10 months or maybe even longer since you first arrived and found the barrel rollers.
I think it was 11 months ago.
11 months, yeah.
11 months ago. And I think it was only January I started getting into sim racing. So back then I was obviously getting into dirt. Obviously I was already on Twitch because I've been on Twitch for about 6-7 years now. So I've already know about Twitch, I all know that stuff. So I thought it's time to join a community, see what's going on with dirt. And instantly, there he was, Casual Kev.
Yes.
There
he
was.
To be a common thread, that guy. Yeah.
There he was, Casual Kev doing his thing. And then, so I go into his chat, I speak to him. And obviously, he gives me the Discord and all stuff like that. I get into the Discord, and all of a sudden, there's so many lovely people. Like, the community's brilliant. And then, obviously, they're moving on to meeting, because I think it was the rally train back then, wasn't it?
The rally train.
It was the rally train back then, so it was still, I think it was the same schedule as what you guys are on now. And then obviously after Kev, I met Wolve, and then I met you, Rain, and then the next day I met Chris. And then after,
then you were doomed after Chris.
I was doomed after Chris. I
Yeah.
thought, right, that's it. That's it. Life is in my mind now. That's it. But yeah, it's not really a massive story coming into the rollers. Obviously, it's, as you do with meeting new people, you come into a community, you obviously try and show yourself, try and be a good representation to that community. And I think I have.
You have, Craig. You have demonstrated
yes.
excellence in all aspects of your interaction with us, dude. Absolutely amazing.
And I think that has reflected in the way that everybody responds to you, Craig. You know, you've come in and you know you've shown, you know, how much you want to do the community proud.
Exactly.
And
yes.
And that makes everybody so happy and you know and love to be around you. Yeah.
And a natural track to becoming a moderator for our community. Bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
getting rid of me now.
and we wouldn't want to. Absolutely not. So, Wolvie, what?
I'm really curious about Twitch handles. So
Yes.
this is another bit that we love to talk about with you guys. So Fireball, let's discuss how you came up with your Twitch handle. I mean, maybe there's not an exciting story behind it, but maybe there is, and we all want to know.
The current one or the original one?
Well, I don't think many of us have the privilege of knowing what your original one is.
So
I was gonna say I only changed it about 5 months ago, something like that.
Oh.
I recall the original one, definitely. So but maybe why? Okay. Let's put it this way. I've talked about how this Twitch handle that I've got, was spun off from something else. So I think you need to say why yours was spun off, and even let's give us the origin of that original one too.
Some context, right? We need context.
As long as it's not too questionable.
The questionable one is why my bot is named what he is. That's a whole different story.
Yeah, that maybe we. Yeah, okay,
that one I don't think we can talk about here.
Yeah.
And they won't let me get rid of his name is the problem. As I have tried to change his name because Twitch tells me that it's offensive, and they won't take it back from me. And so he is stuck with that name because they won't let me send it back to them and get a new name because the name is offensive. Not because I'm trying to pick a new name that's offensive, but because the name he has is offensive. But that's, yeah. No, but so my original Twitch handle was Fireball Assassin, but it was spelled ASSASIN, which is not obviously how you spell assassin. This is just wrong.
Can I really quickly interject that the misspelling of assassin did color my perception of you?
Yes, that's something that I have realized since then. But when I made it at the time, it was like, well, like, what are you supposed to do?
Continue, though.
I made it. It was like, it was before I think I even had the wheel, so that would have been over 10 years ago, maybe like almost probably 13 or 14 years ago. It was like when I had my Xbox 360, I was making an Xbox account. Me and my brother were both making our Xbox Live accounts. And so I'm like, like, trying to think of names. And then I think it was like either my brother or my dad was like, oh, well, you should be like Fireball something. I'm like, why would I be Fireball? And they're like, oh, well, you have red hair, so your head's like a fireball. And I was like, all right, well, that's stupid, but all right, let's go with it. And then he was like, and then we just started going through suggestions, and it was like, there was something assassin, and I was like, well, what if we take Fireball and we put it as assassin, we slap them together, and we have one name. And my brother thought that was cool, and I was like, all right, like, I'm feeling pretty good about that. So we go to type it in. That's 16 characters. Xbox Live only let you have a 15-character name. Yeah. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to misspell it to make myself not look stupid. And so I picked the second ass as only having one S, and that's why it was misspelled.
Yeah, too many asses, I guess.
When you've already done it in your Xbox, and then you're sticking to that, like, I was like, at that point, that's my identity. So
exactly.
I'm going to keep dragging that with me everywhere I go, even if it's spelled wrong. But then...
how long have you had your Twitch account?
A long time ago. 2016, 2015, something like that.
Very good.
Not as long as the Steam account, which has been there for forever. But then I switched it to Fireball_TX because I was looking for something that was just shorter and more identifiable.
And the TX
is just Texas.
Yes.
It's just easy to, and so it was like everybody called me Fireball anyways. I was just going to be just Fireball, but somebody else already has that on Twitch, but they haven't been active in like 4 years.
Exactly. I have exactly the same thing with Rain Dancer almost everywhere. Almost everywhere that I decide to grab it, the other person who's got it is less active than me.
And how many wolves do you think there are out there? Holy fuck.
Yep.
Excuse my language, but holy.
I guess maybe that's related to having Yo2 behind your name, Craig.
Well, quite funny because everyone used to call me CraigYo. All my best friends, everything. Every time I meet them, they always said to me, "Oh, CraigYo, hey, how you doing, CraigYo? How you doing, CraigYo?" I was like, "Oh, okay." Then my first Xbox name was actually quite funny. Because I don't know if you've heard of the Teletubbies.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
My first Xbox 360 name was Teletubbies Rocks. So it wasn't really the best game of I think. So I thought I would change it up to something even worse, which was Craiginator after Terminator.
That's good. It's catchy.
It's all right.
Oh, I did.
Maybe a little campy, but catchy.
It's not bad.
I've had other usernames as Exotic Sock, Exotic Tree, all the exotic things you could think of. I've had something else in front of it. And then, but coming to Twitch, CraigYo2 has always been my Twitch name.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't changed it since. And obviously that's after 7 years of being on Twitch. So it's pretty much
So
CraigYo. There's nothing really special about it.
So
It's
there's a
special to
CraigYo.
There is a CraigYo.
Damn.
One out there in the Twitch.
And
world.
CraigYo1.
Yes, there is a.
Damn.
It wouldn't let me take CraigYo1 or CraigYo. So there is other CraigYos out there somewhere.
How about Craig No? Have you tried that one? Oh,
I have not. I have not. That's a good. I could do that. That's a good point.
I think CraigYo is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, CraigYo. No, you are CraigYo. That's you. That's you to
That's
us.
me, yeah.
Well, so we've heard, CraigYo, you've been on Twitch like 6-7 years. Fireball like since 2016. What was it? So when you guys joined, what was it like transitioning from like a viewer or watching Twitch to streaming?
I could say from watching Twitch for 7 years. It's already in your mind. You know how it works. You know the sort of people who might come in, and obviously the raids and all stuff like that. But transition, I think it's scary because you don't know what you're getting yourself in for. You really don't know what you're getting yourself in for. You don't know if you're going to end up getting a good audience, a bad audience, or no audience. You don't know. And that's why obviously communities come into good play. Because if you want to stream, I think you need a community on your back.
Oh yeah.
To help you through it. To definitely help you through it. So yeah, that's definitely what I think is the main thing to actually get going in Twitch is a community.
So it sounds like you were motivated for watching purposes when you first got into Twitch. Okay.
Definitely.
I know a few of us have a different experience where it comes to how we entered Twitch. So very interesting to hear this.
I have streamed in the past. I say about 2 years into being with Twitch, and I was streaming League of Legends, and that lasted 2 days.
2 days.
I did 2 days. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
So I went back to watching Twitch.
Fantastic.
And Fireball. Well, like, I don't believe you were streaming when I first met you. But what did you stream before?
I had briefly, but only like weird stuff.
Okay.
So there's not that it's out there anymore, but there was a stream of me rebuilding the carburetor for my truck. And it's like I sat at a table, had like an overhead camera. I was watching that, so you could watch me for like 2 hours, like rebuilding a car, because I thought that was cool. I was like,
oh. So exactly, different motivation for
Why
Twitch
not?
then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had never seen anybody do anything like that before, at least as a live stream. You see YouTube videos of it. I was like, screw it, like I'll try it, like we'll see what happens. I just was very like wasn't set up very well, which kind of needed to be, and so which it's something that I've thought about doing again in the future is a stream like that, where because I have a truck that sits out there that I have to work on, and so I feel like some people might be interested in that.
Yeah.
The YouTube format's probably better, but
True.
nobody does it on Twitch, so there's also sort of a market there that just sort of is like untapped, I suppose, is what you could go with that. But I think starting on Twitch when I started in 2016 was probably just because of like there's probably some meme I saw somewhere and led to a Twitch link, and then I clicked on it, and then it was like, hey, you gotta like create an account to watch this, and I'm like, and I made me do it, and then I forgot about it for like 2 years before I picked it back up again. It's usually what happens. I have to go like double check that I like already whether I have an account or not, because I signed up for it 4 years ago and then forgot about it.
I do that a lot, where I go into something, I go create account, and I enter all my details. This email's already
That
taken.
name already exists.
Oh, email. What? Reset password. Oh, I've got an account. Okay. That's happened a lot to me. So, what prompted you to start streaming again, though, Fireball? Because there was some gap between you sort of really joining in with community stuff.
I think part of it was the timing sort of lined up, because I don't think I started until like January or February, and I wasn't consistent about then. But I think not this
Yep.
not
2020.
like last week, but 2020. Yeah, and the reason for that was because they kicked us all out of classes at school, so we weren't allowed to go up to campus, and so I'm like sitting at home in this apartment by myself 24 hours a day with nowhere to go and nothing to do. So it's like, what else am I going to fill my time with other than playing games? And if I'm playing it already, like I already have the webcam, I already pay for great internet, I might as well just like
make it a social thing. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is it wasn't ever like I think I'm entertaining. It was just kind of like, I'm already doing it. My internet's not really that bad. Screw it, whatever. We'll just do it. If somebody wants to watch, they can watch. So,
Nice.
Which also probably leads to me not being super entertaining, but I appreciate people who watch anyways.
Yeah, it's absolutely like it is interesting how we have different motivations and different evolutions as time goes on. The different things we add and consider doing.
Like the bot on my Twitch channel that just bans anybody who posts a link. Which I haven't fine-tuned it. He's been there for like over a year now, and it's like, even if he posts it, it does not matter what the link is. If it's got a web address in it, you get like insta-banned. I haven't fixed it, and like Ewot got banned on like
Ewot.
He posted a Twitch clip of a clip that he had taken of my channel like 10 seconds before, posted it in chat, and it just got banned immediately. And I was like, whoops. I was like, you can't do that. I'm sorry. Like, it's not supposed to be. You're not doing anything that's a problem. But the bot's there, and because it was when I originally started streaming, all those dang bigfollows.com bots would come in and then spam me like nobody's business. Like I would get like 30 or 40 a stream, which is why I was like, at that point, I'm just gonna get.
I think that's how I ended up a moderator on our channel. I was in your channel one day going, dude, you need a moderator. We got to get rid of these bots.
And then that was because it was after that, Wolvie, that I made the bot. That I was like, the moderators are good, but if there's not a moderator there, I just need the bot. Just needs to like
Absolutely. You can have mods in your channel, but
they
could be busy and
he's a little overzealous sometimes. He wipes the floor a little bit too hard.
So let's talk a little bit about your path to sim racing.
Yes.
Fireball, let's start with you. I mean, obviously, we all have a sort of a different entry path into sim racing, whether it's 1998 Colin McRae on the PC or PlayStation, whatever it may be. Let's hear a little bit about your history with sim racing in general.
Sim racing. Well, if we're gonna go all the way back, I'm gonna say it was probably I had Gran Turismo 3, or my dad had it. Well, no. Well, that came second. Actually, originally my first racing game ever was I think it was like Ford Racing Extreme or something on the PlayStation 1, which I still have somewhere in a box in the garage, along with maybe the PlayStation 1. I haven't played it in like 15 years. Good game. But no, Gran Turismo came after that, and my dad had gotten I guess at the time it would have been a Driving Force GT or whatever from Logitech.
Nice.
But it wasn't mine, it was his. And so it was like I used it. He used it maybe once or twice, and then I used it once or twice. But then after that, it was like 4 or 5 years without a wheel.
Wow.
And then there was like one birthday where I was playing Forza Motorsport 4 because it like just came out, and I was like, man, it'd be really cool if I had a steering wheel. I was like, that'd be pretty awesome. And since at the time, the Fanatec that I have now was the one that had the Forza Motorsport branding. It was like you knew it was gonna work, whatever. It was expensive, but I was like, all right, screw it, that's what I'm gonna get. Like I had a bunch of money saved up from previous birthdays, and I was like, all right, here's $800 to buy this wheel. That probably not worth $800, but at the time it was $800, and I still have it.
I think that's really how Fnatic got their big start, is because they were the sort of the best Xbox wheel you could get.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else was like a really a toy.
It works wirelessly
right.
with the Xbox.
Yeah, and if you wanted to use a wheel with Forza Motorsport, you bought the Fnatic. I think that's really how they really got their start.
Which the funny part for me is I think I maybe did 2 races in FM4 with it total, and then never used. I put it back in the box and never used it again. And then I think it was about 2 or 3 years of it being in the box before I pulled it out again when I went to play Dirt Rally 1.
Right.
On my computer, and I was like livid playing the game on a controller. It was just, I was like fuming because it was making me so angry because I was terrible. And then I was like, it clicked in my brain. I was like, wait a second, you idiot.
I've got a wheel.
You've got a wheel in a box. What the hell are you doing?
Far
And
out.
I was like, then I figured out that it worked, and it was kind of dodgy because the stupid Rensport wheel stand that it was on that I had to go with it and stuff, and it slid across the floor, and then the pedals would shoot off. That was bad, but it worked better than the control. So once I kind of did that, and then from there, I had packed it back up after that once I left for school, and I didn't bring it with me for the first year or 2 that I was in Arizona. But then once I moved into my own apartment by myself, I brought it back with me, which would have been about that, probably that summer of like 2019, kind of around there. That sounds about right.
Fascinating.
Which is sort of when I got into sim racing stuff more in depth. So iRacing, I started doing that at that time.
Okay.
Other stuff was kind of snowballed from there, because it was like once I had the wheel and then I was sort of a bit more committed to it, then I could sort of.
Now, when did you introduce the VR into your system?
That had to be like probably December 2019.
All right.
Something like that. That sounds about right. Because I don't think I've ever streamed not in VR. I mean, I have like since then, but
yeah.
Maybe once or twice. But it was like it was just like I had like $400. I was like, I don't really know what to do with this, because it was what I had done is I had gone to work one day and I like made like $400 at work.
Okay.
With that nice Pizza Hut money, but I had taken it all and I'd stuffed it in a box of jambalaya, and I stuck that jambalaya box in the freezer, and I forgot about it for like 3 months.
I love
so
finding money that you stashed
and
away.
I pull it out. I'm like, oh wait, this jambalaya box is empty. And I was like, damn, I was hungry. And I'm like, oh shit, there's like $400 in here. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Woohoo!
And so yeah, then I bought a Rift S at the Microsoft store the next day, which was eventful because there was a Fortnite tournament happening at the Microsoft store the same day I went to go buy the headset. So I got a 10% student discount too.
Fascinating.
Nice.
Use that student ID.
Thank you. Thank you for that history.
A quick question on where did your rallying come from as well? Like, why did you end up in rally? Was there a real life interest, or was it just because you played a rally game? How did that?
I started with I did enjoy Dirt 3 when it originally came out and had it on the Xbox, and then I tried.
And so you got Dirt 3 because it was just a car game that was coming out, or
probably.
Okay.
Or it was probably because I got it used and it was cheap. So probably.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because I don't think I got it when it was new. But then I got DR1, and it was really challenging. And it was really challenging with controller, which was super frustrating.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of thing, where you have a game that's really obnoxiously frustrating, I both hate it and love it at the same time, because it's just something that I'm like constantly want to just like do better at. And then it was sort of I enjoy other racing games for similar reasons, but there was something about the rally where it was just like, especially the dirt rally games,
Yeah.
where it's like you either do well or you die. There's like no in between.
Yeah.
So I
Awesome,
enjoyed that
man.
a lot.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
Fantastic.
I think that's a very relatable thing for a lot of us. You know, the difficulty gives that love-hate relationship,
Yes, yeah.
and you might fume and fume and fume, but then you come back. You get drawn
Yeah.
back in because I think I can do better. I feel no. I'll get it this time. I'll get it this time.
The dark soul of sim racing.
Indeed.
Craig, you have a variety streamer background, pretty much. So
Yeah.
how did you come to simulation racing?
Well, simulator race or sim racing, I've only really been into the past year and a half, but I do enjoy my racing games stuff, obviously back in the past. But what I can start with, real back into the day, I don't know if everyone remembers a Tommy Turning Turbo dashboard. I don't know if everyone remembers that.
Where's that from?
It was a kid's toy which had a little steering wheel. It had this LCD screen, and the old So I used to take that everywhere with me. I loved it.
Wow,
But that's what got me into racing, really. When I was pretty much 2 or 3 years old.
yeah.
Then obviously, like moving on to the PlayStation, obviously you had Driver. Driver was one of the ones I used to play a lot, and then obviously PlayStation 2, you had Burnout games, you had the Need for Speed games.
Yep.
All the
Grid.
racing.
We had Grid out there as well.
Grid as well. And then moving on to Xbox, obviously it's when Forza started coming into play. Obviously I had a bit of Forza now and then, but I wasn't really into it though. It was more like a casual thing. Like,
Sure.
I fancied a bit of driving. And it was only when I decided to get Dirt Rally, which was last year, January, was when I really decided.
Dirt Rally 1?
You know what?
Or 2?
Yes.
1?
Dirt Rally 2.
Oh, Dirt Rally 2.
No,
Okay.
Dirt Rally 2,
Okay.
yeah. I did play 1 a little bit, but I didn't really get into it.
Sure.
But actually, no, I'm missing a couple of things. Actually, it was ATS and ETS as well, which got me the wheel. My first wheel, which was the G29. That's what got
the trucking
That's what got me
sims.
the Logitech. Yes. The good old trucking sims. I used to play it on the mouse and keyboard on the laptop, and then I thought it's time for a change. Let's get the wheel. So I was using my G29 on a laptop.
That's awesome.
Which was sort of working, but it wasn't. But it did. It gave you that sort of realism, which was good. But then, yes. So moving on to Dirt, obviously getting into Dirt. That's when I obviously decided to meet you guys. But yeah, it was really good, and now I'm getting sucked into that hole where I must buy new things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
The black hole of sim rig racing.
Yep, definitely starting to get that bug. So yeah, I've got a few things in mind to get.
Exciting, Craig. Yeah, exciting. You might be the first person that I know, like from the barrel rollers closely, that like started with a trucking sim. That's awesome. So it's a non-racing start. Yeah, I resisted the trucking sims for so long. It was only when I had quite a lot of gear and I was looking for more things to experience with the gear that I went, you know what, it's on sale, why not just try it out, like, and maybe it'd be a relaxing thing.
I was gonna say, like, having that part of that discussion makes me feel a bit bad, because even with all of the gear, I still prefer playing both of those games on my controller. Even having, like, I tried the game in VR, I've tried it with the wheel, and it's like, it's because I don't know, but I can see how some people enjoy the experience.
No, particularly enjoy it for the clutch work. I mean, the trucking sim, the clutch work, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's I think that's what I love about the trucking sims is the amount of times I need to shift.
Yeah,
it's gonna
keep you occupied. It's the whole body engagement.
It's every time you see me use a clutch.
It's like, all right, 18 gears, here we come. and having to think, all right, so I'm cruising along in 14th, and then I'm going to slow down. So where am I going to double clutch and shift down to? And yeah, it's
and then try the split shifting.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
It's way more engaging than I thought it would be. So I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, okay, that's a fair bit of background. Anything we're missing, Wolvie, in terms of background?
Do you guys want to speak a little bit about your professional background, about your career paths at all? Sometimes
totally
for
optional.
Some of us, obviously, our career paths kind of led us into the world of PC gaming. But again, if you guys are interested at all and giving us a little bit of background, please do. Fireball. College, we all are aware that you recently completed.
Yeah.
And
I think I've completed. They told me I completed. They never gave me my degree. I feel a bit. I have actually on the thing. It was over there somewhere. I have the booklet that the degree goes in,
but not the actual bit of paper.
They never actually sent me the piece of paper.
Blank
they sent
degree.
Me the book. They never sent me the piece of paper, so I feel a bit bad about that. It's probably because I owe them like $50 for some stupid parking. So, which is my fault because I kind of definitely didn't purchase a parking pass for the last 2 years that I was going to school there. Definitely.
I'm sure. I bet you're the first student who's ever done that.
Yes.
I don't believe any poor student ever has not bought the
I realized they were all the
pass.
same color, and if you just flip them, the color was the way that they were determining which year it was for, and so if you just flip it backwards, and when you put it in, they can't see it through the tinted windows in the back, so they just leave you alone.
You're very analytical in your work, and it shows in your organization and how you execute and move forward with things. So obviously that has some tie into your professional background. It has.
No, yeah. Well, I have a mechanical engineering degree. I guess technically it's on, at least assuming I get the piece of paper, it probably just says Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering, but it would be with like a fluids background if they actually had like backgrounds or whatever. I guess background isn't the right word. I don't know. It starts with a D. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so I kind of went to school for that because I liked car aerodynamics, and that was sort of what I was going for, because I actually went in originally for school doing as an aerospace major. But then I kind of got about a year and a half into aerospace and realized that all of the classes for that were all airplane or helicopter related. And while cool and like interesting, is not really broad enough to like give me the opportunities that I was looking for. So then I just ended up switching majors to mechanical, which let me experience some other stuff that I don't think I would have done otherwise. But it was pretty cool. So
cool. So you were early in your career, just getting started.
Yeah, and the job that I have currently isn't really all mechanical engineering related. It's I do commissioning for a company that does installations of thermostats and controllers. So this is a lighting controller.
Well,
you
cool.
click the button and it makes the thing do. So it's HVAC stuff, which is somewhat relevant, but still pretty fun.
We had a chat recently, Fireball, and sometimes things are tangential, and the way they connect. The way they connect is different. Yeah.
There's a path to go, because I did some HVAC stuff in school. You did some laboratories or something that we would do like testing on HVAC systems, but it wasn't like what I was coming out of school looking to do. But kind of getting into it, I can see that it's cool and relevant, and that there's cool.
Yeah.
But there's some sort of relevance there, and it's sort of an industry that I don't think is going to go away anytime soon.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, who's not going to want to heat or cool their house at some point? So it's like it's probably a safer decision than maybe the automotive industry is, or like I have a friend that was in the that was going to school for being a petroleum engineer and ended up having to stop school to go work in the oil fields, and then he came back to school. But he's worried that his job's just going to he'll come out of school with that degree and then work for 5 years, and then his job's just going to disappear. So.
Yep.
There's a concept of transferable skills that you'll find. Yeah, it typically guides your career. CraigYo, totally optional if you like, if you don't like. For some people it's private, but if you wish.
I will speak about is obviously college. The same with Fireball. I was doing some sort of vehicle, like vehicle work. I was doing vehicle body repair, but unfortunately that didn't really go anywhere. Unfortunately, and for one, it's really difficult work. Like trying to panel beat, doing
Yeah,
panel
very
beating
physical.
is very rough work. And obviously, I failed the exams twice. So after that, I thought, yeah, I thought let's try something different. But unfortunately, no, I just ended up doing warehousing work and stuff like that, really. So nothing really car specific.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Craig. I mean, I had some career aspirations that I was unable to pursue because I failed as well. And I know what it's like.
Yeah.
You roll with the punches and you move on to what you can do.
I never graduated from high school. I never got my diploma, but I landed an IBM. So
yeah, exactly.
You know what? It's
Exactly.
not necessarily about what that piece of paper says about you, but what you're capable of doing.
100%.
Put in the position. So yeah.
100%. And speaking of which, you were both proving to be very capable at running community clubs and different kinds of community clubs.
Huge contributions. From
I'd say, yeah, absolutely. And both of your club concepts have been proven to be wildly popular among the community.
They've blown up past few months.
Yeah, wildly popular. People love doing them. People love the curation behind them. Fireball, you have the Tour of History, which is very appropriately intricate for Fireball.
Yeah.
We have a few viewers out there, guys, that are very interested in how you designed this, how you came up with the concept, sort of the behind the scenes design concepts.
So take us back to when you had the spark of the idea.
I want to say it was something because I had a club before that was F2 Weekly Sprint, and
yes.
The reason that I had that club was that I was I wanted to try different like club layouts and club ideas, and so that club I did, it was just one stage every day for a 7-day championship, so which doesn't work, but it was worth trying. Like I tried to do it, and then I was like, I tried to mix it up, and then tried to mix it up with this, and
sure.
It was, so it's partly coming from that where I had a club that I was just kind of using as a test bed to just kind of like throw random different situations at it and see kind of what popped out and who liked what. But when I was doing it, I was like, man, there was like one stream or something where I was just thinking about it, like driving some of the cars, and I was like, man, this would be really cool if I could have, I was like, because I want to say what it was is before that stream, I had been either watched a video or read something about the 037 and the Quattro basically battling each other through the same season, and then the 037 beating the Quattro, which is not really something that you think about because you think the Quattro is like just absolutely dominant, which it was, but it was like, here are two cars that both feature in the game, sort of, because the Quattro that's in DR2 isn't the same.
Isn't the same Quattro, yeah.
No, the one in DR1 is at least a little bit closer, but they're similar-ish to what they were supposed to be for that. Was it 1983 season?
83, yes.
And so, like, here are these two cars, but I can't race them in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why can't I do that? Like, these cars sort of competed in real life against each other. So why can't we just have a club where two people compete in those two different cars? I mean, those cars competed in real life. What's to stop us from doing the same thing? And then kind of when I came up with that idea, I was like, man, looking at it, there's tons of cars from tons of different years that like line up but aren't in the same classes, and it would be really cool to kind of have a way to have people drive all these different cars from this one year that are across different classes, and then kind of mush it all together and create a championship out of it. And then once you started actually looking into it and doing it, it got super complicated. But it's that kind of stuff that makes me interested in doing it. So, and also not interested, but mostly interested. So.
Yeah. So I recall just random conversations here and there, in Discord, in streams, like pinpointing exactly where these have been, but just talking about how, because of gameplay balance, right? In particular, that H3 rear-wheel drive class in Dirt Rally 2, it actually has Group A cars in it, but they're not Group A all-wheel drive.
No, they're Group B rear-wheel drive,
yeah. Group A rear-wheel drive.
Group A
rear-wheel drive. Or there might be Group 4, which is like H3 rear-wheel drive has rear-wheel drive cars that were before Group B and after Group B mushed together. So it is odd to me to see, a Stratos battling against an E30 M3 when there was a whole era between them that was completely different. So but I guess it sort of balances out because they're sort of about the right class, about the right pace. So it makes sense from a video game balance perspective. But it was but yeah, hang on, this isn't right. We should have things like, and this, I'm really excited for getting into the 90s, but we should have things like the F2 front wheel drives going head to head with a Group A cars. We should have things like that.
And it was part of that too, that specific combo that kind of made me, because it was like once I was like, okay, those two go together with the 037 and the Quattro, and I was like, okay, what if I start kind of matching cars up from different groups and eras? And I was like, wait a minute, there's a bunch of cars here that just make no sense fighting against each other, but in real life they did.
Yes.
And then they actually did way better than you would have thought that they would have done just from thinking about it in your head. It's in real life this actually works, and it's hold on, now I've got all these puzzle pieces that all fit together.
Awesome,
which is exciting.
Awesome.
It's a fantastic series, fantastic club, and well thought out, very complex. Even just to jump into the series is complex.
No,
you've got to read through it. You've got to, and I would encourage anybody running the TOH to read what Fireball posts. He's very thorough with the histories of the vehicles.
Yeah, and doing the event histories and stuff, and sometimes I don't have the time to do them, but I do find it interesting to do just from sort of for myself, at least, just learning about the history of the sport is cool. So that's sort of why I put some more work into that than probably is really necessary.
We'll come back to that. I think there are some deeper dives I want to do there, but CraigYo, you also put a club together. Yes. What was your inspiration? What motivated you to get the club in the first place?
Everyone else was obviously putting clubs up, so I thought I've got to put my hand in the pot and give it a go. So, but yes, the name Speed and Power came from the one and only Jeremy Clarkson when he was on top of the show. Speed Power. Yes, that's exactly where I got it from. But I was not expecting it to blow up how it has. Definitely not.
It's gone through a number of design changes along the way, and I really like your current setup.
Mm-hmm.
So talk us through what your thought process was as you change the club up, and what made you make the changes.
Well, it was more that keep it nice and simple, because obviously people don't like to do 6 stages with 1 or 2 services because it can get frustrating. I understand that. So I thought I'll try and keep it nice and simple with just the 4 stages at the beginning, and then the first season I did for it wasn't too bad. So I thought, okay, I'll keep it how it is for the next season. So I changed a few things. I took off the assists. I took the false cockpit off as well. So I thought I'll keep that how it is. and then obviously I didn't see much of people participating in it, so I thought I'll change it up. So I changed it to 6 stages. So I thought let's do it 6 stages, do 6 stages, have a service after every 2, and see how that goes. And people didn't enjoy it. They did not enjoy it. So I thought, right, let's go back to the 4 stages, but let's do it as say it's going through the day. So you start first stage daytime, second stage it'll just be like just getting dark, then noon, then dark, and then obviously with a long stage at the beginning, a long stage at the end. Obviously it was more getting the feedback from what people were thinking of the club.
Nice.
So it's definitely the feedback. But yeah, it's definitely was not expecting it to blow up how it was going to expect it to be. I thought it wasn't going to be one of them clubs which, obviously, yeah, people will join, but it's not going to be popular. You know?
Well, Craig, your club is one of the ones I love to hate. Because I hate the night. I absolutely hate it. And you progress right into it.
That is the problem. People still terminal quite a lot in my club. And it's not meant to make people terminal.
No matter what you do.
No.
I'll share this. Like, I alternate the barrel rollers and Twitch DR2. Twitch DR2 is supposed to be super hardcore. Barrel rollers is supposed to be nice and forgiving. People still terminal like nothing else in the barrel rollers. And I'm like, this is supposed to be a training club.
Exactly. I have the same thing with Group D World Tour and Always Sunny.
Always Sunny
is a training club.
Exactly, yeah.
I think I have more terminals in Always Sunny than we do in Group
But it's to be fair as well. The training club is you're supposed to try odd things. You're supposed to you're supposed to learn. So why not? Why not? See how far you can push it.
I'm sure in like because I know from personally Wolve with Groupie World Tour is once I realized that you didn't have hardcore damage on, or at least I don't know if you switched that or not, but then I kind of took that as a challenge to try and see how much I could get away with killing my car and still be able to finish the event. And so not so much in the last time I've done it, but there's been 3 or 4 in a row where I was intentionally trying my hardest to kill the car in the process.
We recommend that now because hardcore is back on.
Yeah. Because there was one rally I did in the Delta S4 in Spain, I think, and it was I literally did the whole rally without lifting. It was just flat the entire time, just banging into trees, smashing into guardrails.
Actually,
but it lets you do it. I got through like 3 or 4 stages without it killing me. It did eventually kill me, but
your contributions are amazing, guys, with the club duration and the management it takes for those, especially with TOH. I mean, not taking away from Craig, but TOH involves what 30 or 40 different clubs you've got running in there.
3 or 4.
It's 6.
6.
Yeah.
6, 5 or 6.
It's got to 6 now.
I have
it's like 30. I look at the spreadsheet.
H1,
links.
H2, the other H2, H3, Group B, so 5. Yeah, 5.
H1's
a lot of management.
H1 should be dropping off soon.
Too many clubs to maintain.
There's people that keep trying to get those Mini Coopers in there. So,
Craig, your contributions to our community via moderation has been huge. But just out of curiosity, I mean, obviously you have an affinity with the community. You are involved heavily in keeping our community in line, squared away, and making sure that we're doing the right thing, and you're representing the community. What led you to be a moderator? I mean, obviously, our community has an eye on this, and we have individuals that we see that are trustworthy. When this first came to you, what was your thoughts?
I think it was about 3 or 4 months in with being with the barrel rollers, and I was just sitting down doing my thing. I got a message from Rain. He was saying, "Would you like to become a moderator?" And I was thinking, I've only been here for 3 months, Rain. It's like you want me to be a mod already. I was like, he trusted me already, like to maintain and look after the channel. And I was really happy. I was really happy because I wasn't expecting it to happen that quick, And
now to hear that he was happy about being a moderator, we love that.
Oh yeah,
We love that. Not to bash moderators, but they're
Exactly.
a key part of any community, I think.
Yeah.
And it takes a special character to be a fair and square mod, right? I mean, you've got to handle all types of characters. You've got to have a little bit of hardness to make it happen, and willingness to press forward. So I commend you, for what you do for the community in terms of moderation, and we absolutely love your participation in that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, CraigYo. Like, what we tend to look for in a moderator is somebody who seems to love what the barrel rollers do. What happens in the streams, in the Discord, and they've got this sort of oversight of all of these things. They hang out with a wide variety of rollers, so they're not too in one specific section of a rollers, and maybe won't have context somewhere else. But yeah, we go through phases where we need to recruit more because existing moderators become less active or what have you. But we typically look for people that we trust and are a good example for everyone else. And that's why CraigYo, Fireball, both of you guys, you represent different aspects of the community, and that's we like to have that representation as well. And it can't be understated that the moderator role, it's unglamorous. It is not a prestige role. Because you might have to do something that is unpleasant to do. It comes with the territory, so it's accepting a responsibility. So it's
exactly.
Obviously it's a reflection of your characters. You're trustworthy, and you don't have any hesitation in enforcing what has to be enforced.
I mean, sometimes swinging that banhammer is pretty fun.
I
agree.
I like handing the banhammer over to Fireball, though. That's fun for me.
We've had our share of ups and downs in sort of the rhythm of the community, right? So moderation has become a necessary part of the growth of our community, and we are absolutely thrilled to have you guys continue to play that role. Thank you so much.
Right, guys, I think we might call it at that point. I think there's a lot more we can go into and deep dive, but just in the interest of time, we might wrap up there. I think the extra stuff that we could dive deeper on, we can do in a follow up. It certainly was that way when we had John in last. There was so much more we wanted to talk about, but we were like, wow, we're already at an hour and a half.
All right, guys, thank you very much. That's going to wrap it for us today on episode 8 for the Barrel Rollers podcast. Absolutely thrilled to have CraigYo, Fireball here as guests, and we have much more to talk about, but we don't have the time to do it right now. So again, guys, really appreciate your efforts with the Barrel Rollers. We appreciate learning about your backgrounds and about where you're headed with the Barrel Rollers. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, all of you for that. So until next time, guys, take care.
Bye.
Bye.